I think, all of us, Chris, he didn't make it on his first time, but by the time he won, it was phenomenal, and he literally could walk right into, a major pro show and do really well. And I
Yeah,
think that's what it should be. The national champion and the USA champion should be able to walk into a pro show and be in that top two or three, and especially local. I mean, small shows, And so if you cannot do that, then are you really a pro? So my thing and the problem with I'll go back to with bodybuilding. The problem with bodybuilding today is that all the great physiques are stopping at men's physique and they're stopping at classic now. And guys don't train hard. They may post up a video, but they really can't go through the training that I went through.
Every rep starts with fuel. Helix cream of rice, clean carbs, zero sugar, fast digesting energy that hits quick, fuels hard, and never sits heavy. 27 grams of pure carb power, nothing but rice and real flavor. Proudly made in Canada, built for champions. Grab yours now with code MuscleDiscord. Helix Foods, fuel the work, own the stage.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord, and we are on episode number 11 for the Real Deal podcast with Chris, the Real Deal Cormier, man. We got a big guest on the show, IFBB Pro Don Long, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Good to see you, brother.
You too, man.
Cool. Well, what I'll do, just to give the people watching a little recap of Don's kind of career in pro bodybuilding. He got his pro card in 1995 NPC Nationals. Okay, he won there overall. Then he had his pro debut in 1996 at the Night of Champions, where he placed third behind Flex Wheeler and Ronnie Coleman. So not too shabby for a show. And then, you competed on in 13 more pro shows throughout your career. And then, as people know, you ended your career, you had some health issues, kidney issues, and you had to go on dialysis and stuff like that. So you kind of, stopped your career there. And man, you've been a figure in our sport. You competed with the best. Yeah, you had one of the most crazy looking physiques that I remember. I remember your delts. I seen you I think I saw you in a Flex magazine shoot with Flex Wheeler or something. Then I saw, who the fuck is this guy with the delts, man? And the arms, it was crazy. So that's how I came on to you. And you and Chris probably got some stories we can go through maybe, but Chris, I'll let you jump in and we'll get into some of the questions here.
Yeah, Don, you had a remarkable career. We shared the stage a few times. I feel like you have such a story because where you are now, and I don't know, have you thought you were going to do something like this as far as like your meal prep company is very successful and you got a lot of great guys on signed up with your company. I, for one, I love the food and what you've been doing. You want to tell us more about your company, what you've been going over lately and getting into lately, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, ever since, bodybuilding, of course, I became a coach after that. I coached, me and my wife, or me first, we coach people all across the country. And then I met my wife and we joined together and we started coaching as a team, and so we thousands of people, for years, and that led into us actually starting the meal prep company because she used to prep a few meals for certain local people that we work with. And then and that turned into a bigger thing. We said, well, let's try to create a whole business out of this. And then and so that's what we did. We moved from Florida to North Carolina and started an actual business at meal prepping. And it's been going really well. We have two actually solid locations, brick and mortar, and then we deliver to about 45 different locations throughout this area, along with nationwide shipping and things like that. So it's going really well. We, of course, continue to grow it and look for new spots to open up and things like that. And so that's kind of where we are now. But we make great food, we make a large variety. And of course, being in the fitness industry, we understand what people need as far as, amounts and types and things like that, not just a one size fit all. And so we try to cater to, the different aspects of people's lives of, the everyday person, your fitness, your serious athlete. So from from the lady that wants to just change her diet and get off medication to the full-time bodybuilder that's going to compete in the Olympia. We cater to it all, you know. So once again, because we did coach people, we also understand that, you know, what people want and things like that, as far as the measurements have to be perfect and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, you brought on Keon, correct?
Yeah, we have Keon on. Yeah, we've
That's
had
awesome.
you know, you, Dexter, we've had Kevin Larone, we've had, you know, you name it, we've pretty much had him on the team at some point, you know. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's what's up. Hey, so you just opened up your second location, correct?
yeah, we just opened up a
Recently?
second location, which is going really well. And then that's the goal, is to, you know, open up more locations throughout, you know, the area that we're in, within, you know, a 2 or 3 hour radius, and then continue to expand it and eventually maybe franchise them and things like that also, you know.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's a great idea, man. I'd like to yeah, we can get you out west here more, man, and be I
Yeah.
know we got a lot of mouths to feed out here.
Yeah. And of course, meal prep companies are popular everywhere, but you know, we feel like, once again, just from my background and things like that, we can bring you something unique. And then we also, you know, again, you coming from fitness, you know, enthusiasts, understand
Mhm.
food and measurements, and, you know, and once again, uh, with us, of course, the customer's always right. So when something's wrong, we fix it to their liking. You know, it's like no questions asked. You know, and so we take pride in that type of thing. Also, you know, just keeping the customer super happy. You know.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's in the same lane I'm in. I got a meal prep business here in Vancouver, Canada. I've been doing that for about 6 years, and we got a kitchen and production facility and the whole thing. But yeah, so we kind of got the same kind of background there with the meal prep. So I kind of understand when you say if something's wrong, we fix it, we make it correct for the customer. Customer's always right. So that sounds right to me
So,
too. I agree with that.
so how many people were the staff some type of facility like that?
Altogether, between the two locations, we probably have about 20 staff members between the two locations. Yeah. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yep.
Big operation, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Big, and it runs smooth. And we have a blueprint now, and so it's easy to kind of pop them up if we need to. And like I said, that's the goal. And then, like I said, and because we're you know, we have the main hub where we do all the cooking at. We have the main kitchen, but we can facilitate to the ones that are within driving distance. Like when we got this other location that we open, this is just a storefront where you have coolers and people can order and they can pick their orders up there, or they can walk in and grab. But you know, this all, you know, so everything gets kind of transported, because our meals come sealed in a sealed tray, you know, airtight tray, you know, not like with a lid on it. So that keeps the meal super fresh
Ooh,
for about it.
it's a real deal right
Real
there.
deal 10 right there, boy. That's
Sorry about
what's
uh,
up.
my eyes kind of messing with me tonight. I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's all good, man. We understand.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so you didn't jump into this directly after your uh, competition career, but just to go back, some of the competitions that stand out for you, that some of your shows that was like made the
Look at this, man.
meant the most to you. You want to go back and
Yeah,
go over that? And
when you do look at my career, I consider myself like the Lenny Bias of body. One of, you know, Lenny Bias of body. You know, I'm the guy that could have been, you know, that should have been, could have been. And because, you know, I started off great, you know, and I think if anybody knows bodybuilding knows I came out of the gate swinging as a rookie. And then after the first show, yes, I competed more, but I was already done at that point. I think things had started to happen right after that show, right after the 96 Night of the Champions. My body never took to, you know, act the same after that, you know. So, you know, like any picture, like here, you know, any pictures you see of me, 99% of them are amateurs. I'm an amateur, you know. So anything you see of me is just in the beginning of my career, and I haven't even, you know, on the
That's
only
crazy.
picture of me good as a pro. And then, granted, I took good pictures regardless, because I was always in shape. But it's a difference being in shape for a camera, being in shape for a contest, you know. So, but anything you see me post, for the most part, I'm still an amateur, or I just turned pro, you know. So people never got to see the best of me, you know. So it just didn't pan out, you know. So I don't even like to count anything after the Night of Champions, because it really wasn't me. It was figure something out in
Yeah,
that.
but people need to realize this is junior nationals. He's not even a pro yet.
Yeah, this is my first year at the national.
And look at what he looks like. This is what I'm saying. The
Crazy.
quality.
Straight nuts, man.
Like,
And so that's why
Yeah.
most of the pictures you see of me, I mean, if you're gonna just go down the list of my pictures, I'm not a pro yet. I don't probably have a lot of pictures as, you know, a pro. I mean, well, I have pictures, but I don't have any contest pictures, you know, as a pro. You know, anything you see me on
yeah.
stage, amateur. So yeah,
Damn.
I'm trying to
So
find
what,
some more.
man? So how much did you weigh there? How much?
that particular show, I was only probably 225 in that particular video you see, right? It's my first
Here,
year
I'm
at the
gonna share another one here.
25. And then, of course, eventually, the next year I was 241, you know. And so, yeah.
This is
241.
Yeah. So that's,
crazy. Your conditioning, man, like it's just fucking ridiculous. Look at the triceps shredded.
yeah. I always took pride. Once again, I had good, you know, blueprints out there. You had to be in shape. You know, you had people coming before you that they set the tone, you know. And so you knew you're not to step on stage anything less than,
Look at
otherwise,
this.
you know.
So were
The
you
muscle.
training in the same gym as
Two,
Dexter back then? No,
Well,
that's
no,
Virginia.
yeah, this is, I was in Alexandria, Virginia.
Virginia.
Kevin,
Okay.
yeah.
this is still amateur? This is heavyweight?
Still amateur. Yeah. This
Jesus.
second
Look at
It's
it.
at the
it's different. Like the muscle looks different back then than it does today.
yeah.
I mean, you have to say that. I mean, you went that's a fully feathered tricep right there,
Yep.
and the glute striated. The
Look at his pecs,
chest
chest.
is. I like the separation, Don.
Yeah.
You what type of training were you doing back then?
Yeah.
I always train super heavy, but also super volume. So where someone else can do
There you stand.
for 6 reps, I'm going to do it for 20. You know, or if you're squatting, you know, 500 for 2 reps, I'm going to do it for 15.
See what
You know,
else I could find.
volume, but always with the mindset of going heavy. You know, and a lot of flexing and posing in my off season. You have to be diligent to say I'm going to flex every set in the off season. And so I did a lot of flexing after every set in the off season. So I would break my muscles, you know, after a bicep curl or whatever, bicep set, I would flex the muscles, chest, flex the muscles, every muscle in my body, I will flex that and creating separation. You couldn't see it as good at that point, but once I started cutting down, all that flexing and squeezing came to life also, you know, along with dieting and stuff at that point, you know. So
Who did you have helping you prep, or did you do it yourself?
I pretty much did it myself. My first year at the Junior Nationals, I went to, you know, I prepped myself for that show to still just reading and stuff like that. And about 2 weeks into that show, Amin Ali came into my camp and gave me some advice how to get ready for that last couple weeks for the show, it was really good advice at the time. And from that point, I kind of took what he you know, gave me as far as, you know, supplement protocols and things like that. And that was kind of my routine, along with reading, you know, reading you know, reading all kinds of books back then on how to do the
Right.
like that. And then but then my training and stuff just kind of was me, my training partners, and we just, you know, we were hardcore in the off season, bust our butt like crazy, very competitive. Kind of like, you know, what you see. You didn't get to see me on video like you saw Flex and you and stuff like that, because y'all had
Right.
cameras on you, but we had the same thing where I was from, you know, just like a camaraderie. They were my partners my whole career. And then and they kept me accountable, you know, and we didn't know which one was going to make it. And we all started off together, small little whatever. And then grew a lot faster. I ate a lot more and very consistent. And they ate too. It's just my body responded even better. And
Yeah.
but they competed, but they also pushed me, and then they were with me the whole time. And so yeah, so that's, and we were always very competitive in the off season, and then at contest time, you know, they would be with me, you know, like 8 weeks out, they would be with me, and because I didn't even talk after 8 weeks out to anybody. I mean, I didn't really,
You just
yeah,
locked down, locked in.
yeah, and they knew when I walked in the gym, I put my cap backwards, I grow my beard, and then they my friends up until that point. But people in the gym, they can really figure it out. But they even knew that, you know, after 8 weeks, don't talk to them, just lift the weights, change it for them. But it was nice for them to do that. I didn't take it for granted, but they knew I needed that type of focus to get ready
You
for a
know,
show,
you
and they would
know,
100%.
back then, Don, I remember we were in Goals in Venice, you know, me and Flex and those guys, but it was almost like unwritten rules. Like you didn't have to go over it with people. People just knew to step out the way, or they knew to give up. Because if you're waiting for them, if you're looking at a machine like you want to do it, they would just automatically retire what they're doing and give you the machine. You have something important coming up. We're gonna we're gonna give you that machine. And there was no
But
uh
my gym,
not go ahead.
I was saying I was a man, of course, of my gym by this point, and then I mean, it literally took me 30 minutes to get from the door. This was in the off season to the bathroom because I was very sociable with everyone in, which was fine, and I made sure that happened in the off season. But then as soon as that 8 weeks came, they really saw a different person, and some of them didn't like it. They didn't understand it. They're like, how the hell he switched that quick, you know?
Yeah.
And then partners
Time to
would,
lock in.
yeah, my partners would block them off at that point, and I would just apologize once it was over. Once it was over, I didn't say nothing to them, but then once it was over, the ones that didn't understand, I would apologize to them. Like, this is what I do. It, you know, I had to have certain rituals for myself to say, you know, this is what I'm going to. Nothing's coming between it. 8 weeks out, don't talk to me. I'm focused, you know, and that's how it was, and that's how I got through it. But once again, I was a beast in the gym. I was a beast with my diet, you know, and never cheated, you know, always on point. And we trained super hard. I mean, I'm still at 2 weeks out. I'm still lifting heavy and bust my butt. This is something I could not do if I didn't have them. I mean, I would say that, but they were a big help because when you don't have to worry about lifting plates and things like that, and they do all the work, and I just
Yeah.
get my set and pound it like crazy, and then sit down and rest and get ready for the next set. It's a big help, you know. So that's what that was. Yeah.
Right.
What was your bread and butter exercise for shoulders, for delts?
You know, I train shoulders just like everybody else. I train them heavy, a lot of, you know, front presses, back presses. But see, I did side laterals every single day. Every day I did 4 to 5 sets of side laterals every day. You know, and I had little deep
Wow.
shoulders anyway, and that just made them great shoulders. You know, again, you heard me talk about before touch up training, and I touched up my delts every single day. I did. Still see today where you stand in between and you take both sides and go in it, you know, out like it, and I can be using any apparatus. It could be dumbbell, it could be you know, it could be cable, it could be or that particular machine I really like because you didn't have to do a lot of adjusting to it. You just get on it and go side lateral, you know. But I did it every single day, you know. There's a touch out, except, you know. And then of course I have my normal shoulder workout, which I train shoulders on once per week. You know, I train everything once a week once I get into my career like that, you know.
That's a hell of a mustache you had back then too. Had a good
Man.
mustache going. So what you got the food thing going.
Yeah.
How's it going right now? Do you have like aches and pains going? How's the body holding up now?
No, I don't have. Luckily, you know, even as heavy as I lift, you know, because I squat over 700 pounds and bench, of course, you know, 550 or more, and I don't have any elbows, knees, or anything, you know, as far as joints and stuff. You know, the only thing I've had is, of course, the kidney issue, which, you know,
Right.
and out. But yeah, otherwise I'm doing great, you know. So yeah,
And how's that going? The
it's going
kidney.
things stable, you know. So you know, because you know, I did get a transplant about 15 years ago from Sarah.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
That's what's up, man. I hope you stay on top of that.
just tonight something happened with my daggone eye to where it's just kind of watering constantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. You got smart, and then you got smacked up. He's like, got water.
Well, now that we kind of went into the history of Don and his career and his training, and I would get some of the current day kind of topics and kind of get Don's kind of opinion on some of the stuff that's going on in bodybuilding nowadays. And so I guess first question, Don, with like, are you seeing like the amount of pro cards that are being given out nowadays compared to how it used to be, where you had to win their overall to get your pro card? Now it's like first place gets a pro card in each class, second place gets a pro card. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I never, but it changed the one card, and really once this, I think it kind of started when you started adding super heavyweight and things like that, the different classes also. But yeah, when you started giving out multiple cars, it really changed the game big time. I don't even know who wins these shows anymore because, you know, you just, like I said, when I was coming up, when I came up, already I'm seeing, okay, it's Chris, it's Craig Titus, is this, all these guys. I'm like, okay, this is why I got to watch. And these all kind of like really good guys that the
Mhm.
names, all the top five, top, 10. And you're thinking, okay, well, this is elite, and now you got, and I don't want to disrespect anyone that's competing in the shows and stuff like that, but, you know, most you just go back and pull up the junior nationals from the 90s and early, it's just the junior nationals were better than the nationals today, so I don't like all the pro cards. I think, one card, keep it prestigious, and then get in line. I think by you having to go back and get in line and get your turn, you become better. By the time I was done, I was ready to be a pro because I already went through the war 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
straight, and not including the few years I put before that. But my body spawned it real fast anyway. But by me having to lost the first time and lost the second, that's year going back and putting work to the drawing board and watching, fixing the stuff that I can tell was wrong from the past show and coming back better, And so I think, all of this, Chris, he didn't make it on his first time, but by the time he won, he was phenomenal, and he literally could walk right into, a major pro show and do really well. And I think
Yeah,
that's what it should be. The national champion and the USA champion should be able to walk into a pro show and be in that top two or three, and especially local. Small shows, And so if you cannot do that, then are you really a pro? Or are you just, you know, they just gave you a card? If you can't really compete close to where the top guys are, the top 5 to 7 guys in I would say the top 10. If you don't fit into that box as a national champion, that was always the case. I can't even remember a national champion that didn't come out of the box almost, and that could at least be in the top 10. You know, and nowadays that don't happen. So that means they're not ready. And like I said, it's clear that once again, if you just look at, I'm gonna keep using someone like Chris because I don't want to use myself, but I mean, name a national champion since Chris. In the past 15 years anyway, that could beat Chris. When he turned pro. I'm just so that shouldn't be the case, and that's what
well,
I'm not liking about bodybuilding. I don't want to be to put my picture up, from the nationals, and I'm still competitive with today's bodybuilders. I'll be honest. I
yeah,
want to be tested. And then at one point that was the case. You had the field, you had Dexter way up here. They set a standard where, okay, yeah, that's going to kill my national show, so to speak. My national show at least. So I don't want to look up there and see that I could be competitive. My show, I could be pretty much competitive with today's bodybuilders. I want to see a little more range. I want to see it turn into something that is untouchable. So
evolving and everything.
yeah, evolving in a
Uh,
way, yeah. So to where I don't like if you look at the bodybuilders from the 70s, they could not compete with a bodybuilder from the 90s.
Good point.
but a bodybuilder from the 90s can compete with today's bodybuilders, you
Yeah.
know, especially genetically. Genetically, you talking about genetics, it's a whole different level, you know, because you know, but see, of course, I think we took a whole different approach. Our goal wasn't to be big and full. Our goal was to be shredded, like classic physique or men's physique. We wanted to be, we had to be that kind of condition. But we were still big at the same time, you know. So I think that's what's missing. They losing the fact that, you know, they need to kind of be more like classic physique condition, six pack first. You know, I think glutes have been taken over to where I got to. Well, we know, you know, everybody can get glutes now. We could have got glutes if they said you need glutes. You know, we didn't necessarily need them to that degree, so we didn't worry about it as much. You know, even though we had some, we didn't worry about it as much back then because it wasn't a major standard. Now people worry more about glutes than they worry about the stomach, you know. And I think the stomach is way more important than glutes to me.
Yeah, I feel the same. I was gonna say, I said that as you said it, I said it mentally. I said that, you know, a lot of people, you know, they think, you know, the glutes are in, but
Hmm.
yet you don't see the triceps in. You don't see the sometimes not even too much pec
Yeah. The
striation.
chest.
And
Thanks.
then your abs, like once you get to a certain part, a certain fullness in your abs, that's you pretty much tapped out of your physique as far as size. Like you
Yeah,
got to stop right there. You don't just keep going and keep going and keep going. If I eat more, I'll get a bigger chest, blah blah blah. But guess what? Your stomach is out to here now. So
yeah,
Yeah.
now we're doing something else. It's not, not really considered prestigious top shelf bodybuilding at
yeah,
that point.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's a good point
And I
to bring
think,
up.
Well, that's a question. Like Chris, why didn't your and same with Don? Like, why didn't your waist get distended? You got heavy. Like, what was your max weight on stage at the Olympia? Your heaviest, Chris?
Mine was my heaviest 257.
257. But you see, I thought you were more than that because your cut and your shape, it makes you look you're bigger than
Yeah.
257.
And then
Yeah.
I started to figure, I was talking to Dorian, I was talking to different ones that they're like, Chris, if you were, in the high 40s, you're going to still look like you're in the high 50s and you're just going to appear bigger because, you start, those cuts get deeper and the flares more, the cuts between your delts and your triceps and your biceps, all that's deeper, closer to the bone. Then you have the fullness from the carbohydrates. The glycogen storage is up there, and then you just appear that's what you want to do in bodybuilding, is to appear that you are weight that you're not actually that weight.
yeah,
So I think just think about it, if you got the abs, deep cut abs, that's gonna just bring out so much more of your attributes of your the strong chest that you want to have. But then, like nowadays, I see a lot of guys, and I always ask them all the time, like, how much ab work did you do? How much ab work did you do? And a lot of
Mhm.
them not doing any.
yeah.
Like, oh, I already got abs. If I die down, they're there. Yeah, they're there, but they don't look powerful. They don't
Yeah.
look powerful if they're cubed out in your stomach, not flat, uh, like melted ice cubes, basically.
But it's just like if you train one bicep all year and you don't train the other one, one's going to look a lot more solid. I mean,
Yeah.
example. Yeah, but I can always tell a guy that, and there's a lot these days that don't train the abs because once again, what they did is they relied on diet just to get their sick abs down. But I mean, I'll be honest, I trained abs every day back in the day. I mean, I
I
had a
did too. I did too.
down.
And I recommend it. If it's not every day, it's every other day. It's either I tried both, and I pretty much had the same result. But I I was working with Robbie Robinson, and he was like, "Man, you gotta train those abs every day."
Yeah, and then sometimes
So
it's just a little bit. I go every other day. Contest time, you start. You know, that's a part of my.
locked in.
And
Yeah.
the one thing about it, when my abs are in and they get solid, then the rest of the body follows right behind it. You say, okay, this six pack is ready. Now the triceps are shredded, the shoulders are shredded, the chest is coming in shredded. And that's once again, you don't see, I don't even know how today. I mean, you have maybe one or two people that has actually cross striations going across their chest.
Yep.
And something's definitely that because we all had to have
That's
body. cross generations, I wasn't ready for the stage. Period. You know.
Right, right. Well, I mean, you got deep tissue massage. They got a lot of coaches nowadays that they can coach. They can make a good diet for you. I get that point,
Yeah.
and I understand that, and I believe in that. I believe there's a lot of good coaches as far as dietitian. There's not a good training coaches
Yeah. Training.
out there. There's not a lot of good ones. There are some good training partners um, out there that's willing to push you and stuff, but uh, and some of those people, are they the best you can do? I don't know. I
Well,
don't know. I don't know. But
the
Well,
reality.
go ahead. I wanted to take a look at this too because, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
The reality is, someone like Chris, who you've seen his work. I mean, as far as his body, and I don't, he if he worked with Charles, he worked with whoever, he had to be pushed. He had to take his body to a whole nother level of mentality to bring in that kind of conditioning consistently at that highest level. And so he's been through the war. He knows how to diet because 30 years worth of or whatever more. So
yeah,
this is someone you want, someone that knows how to the pain. Someone has to know the
right.
pain of what it takes to get in shape. And that's why when I used to coach, people could always tell my athletes because they're going to go through the pain because I already know what to do, you know. And so if you're not going through that pain that I went through, you're not even training, So
And that's
you know.
and that's in the gym. That's in the posing room. That's
Oh,
it.
yeah,
It's all hard work. But if you put all the work into the diet, you're not gonna get the same result out of
yeah.
the body when you're not putting
I,
in the different facets of bodybuilding.
Yes, checking all those boxes. A coach that's been there like you or whatever, and I would say even myself is that it's not just it's so many little things that we know that needs to be done. I mean, I'll be honest with my athletes, especially the ones when I was local. I don't want to see them talking on the treadmill. I don't. I need you focusing. You can talk to the person next door and be squeezing the glutes like I need you to, and you can't or digging your quads into that stair mill like I need to, because now your mind is on talking to them. You're missing the intense workout you get with your cardio,
Right.
and so it's a lot of factors that you keep people on track. And I think, yeah, beyond so much I
Stop
could.
right there. I
Um,
was gonna say stop right here. I was gonna say I'm gonna cut you off, but right here, Quentin, with the separation of those quads, I thought that was remarkable. I actually thought his lower half in the front and a little bit in the back was just the best it's ever been, in the size and everything. Did you
yeah.
see Quentin? You saw Quentin before in Tampa before, right?
Yeah, I thought his legs, I thought his whole package. He just, he probably could, use a little more. But I mean, as far as size, I think still, even though he is a big guy, his conditioning was very pretty to me. I really like the separation. Same thing. I really think he could train his core a little bit more. I noticed that with him. He has a good,
Yeah.
but I don't
Right.
think the core is as strong as it could be. And so even though he has a great six pack, especially when he flexes it, it's just something that lets me know it could be trained a little bit more. And then the quad separation, great. You don't see that kind of quad separation often, and I like that a lot.
What
So
I what I think is gonna happen with his physique and his journey, he has so much real estate to here to cover.
Hmm. The
yeah,
chest.
So I mean, it's just gonna take time for that to fill out. But
yeah.
when it does get to that point, it's gonna give everyone trouble. I mean, he's just a big trouble with the explanation point
Yeah.
on, that's all. That's what I see with him, and the mindset is gonna come behind it also. Which when you mature, he's in his late 20s, so
In his late 20s.
uh, yeah, they
Oh,
both of these guys are
that's they
Jordan.
great. They both are great. Of course, I'm gonna prefer Quentin's physique a little bit better, even though the guy has a pretty good physique also, but he has weaknesses that I see myself. But his condition,
Right,
and things like that. So I think he did what he needed to do. Um,
right.
Quentin, I would also say also he has to get, his back has to become dominant, and then once
Oh
he gets
yeah, oh yeah, oh
listen,
yeah.
touch up training, they train your back every single day, and trusting the back will come up. I mean, people don't.
Yeah, he's and right here you see some density in Quentin's chest. Uh
Yeah.
I thought I thought that was great, man. I feel like, his training and posing is going to improve, should improve, and needs to improve. Uh, but I think that's going to be. I mean, I think he's on the right track to do whatever he wants to do.
He's on the right track for sure. And I think
Yeah.
the
So
guy, Jordan, he did a lot with his physique. Also, he has his small waist, especially from the back. He
yeah,
broke conditioning. I would just like to see his arms bigger and things like that. That's what kind of
yeah.
cool physique,
See,
Yeah,
Jordan had some density going for him, but I mean, you just cannot. Uh, you cannot overlook Quentin's shape. It's just nuts,
No,
man.
the shape, and that's what it is. And to me, I'm like, I prefer, like, obviously I prefer Quentin's shape, aesthetically pleasing, but Jordan to me is just more. He's done the work with the conditioning, the density of the muscle. He's got the striations in the chest. He's got more detail in the back. The hamstrings and glutes are filled in.
I
Like
mean,
it's
but
those.
look at sorry to cut you off, brother.
Yeah,
But you do see a lot of separation though in Quentin's body.
yeah, you do, but it's just it looks like it's not done yet. It's still like he needs to do a little bit more work and get a little bit more
Yeah,
density to the
I get it.
muscle. Yeah,
I get
the
it.
shape is better. The flow and everything's better, but it's just
Right.
right. Like he's got. I know you say I'm a stickler on the hamstrings, and then there could be a little bit more thickness in the hamstrings
Hmm.
and take up a little bit more space. That's what Tyler always says when he's doing these comparisons. He's like he needs to take up more space on the stage there with the quads, and he's just not doing it. It's a little thinner back there with versus Jordan. He's got a lot of density and thickness in the hamstring here. So
And I like the big calves on the brother.
he's got the calves. Yeah,
yeah.
I
he's got the
like that,
calves.
man.
He has a bright future. As long as
Oh
he
yeah.
takes this and just keep improving, back like he's been,
Oh,
how you
cut out.
and then he would hope to do in the next year or so. I'll be honest now. So
And
project,
look how high he is up on the toe, really contracting that calf.
yeah,
Hmm.
Look at the difference in those guys flexing the calf. I
Yeah,
like that. I like that out of Quentin.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
At least
Those
they
are,
both have calves. Though some of these guys don't have no calves, but he's got.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great 1 and 2, and
Yep.
we're gonna see these guys again, or
Yep.
they're basically gonna go again by the time that people see this video.
Yep.
But it's
That's a
yeah,
beautiful
man.
shot.
See here the abs. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, they look. I
Quint.
mean, the thing
He's
is
Quentin's
though,
winning the shot. Quentin's winning
yeah,
this.
yeah,
That.
for sure, the
Yeah.
ab and thigh, and
Yeah.
you can see the flatness in the body, in the abs.
Yeah.
That's
Th-
great for a big guy like that.
one
this
thing
is
I
where the
got him
density part. Yeah.
someone that's flat. His stomach still protruding a little bit compared to Quentin's.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So in the shot, I did think I was, my eyes are drawn to Jordan more in this shot here. But look at all the other attributes that Quentin has in his favor. The
yeah,
lines in the legs, the abs was in Quentin. For only if it was only the chest,
Hmm.
uh, the pecs through here that could have used some more definition. If that was the case, then you would probably give the nod to Quentin, correct?
Yeah. His shape is better. Yes, but it's just the pecs aren't. There's nothing happening there, and a judge sees that, especially if you're sitting 2 feet away. You're like, man, there's
But
nothing popping here.
do you think he's probably posing too hard? Maybe could have contracted his chest in a little bit more and got a little bit more out of it. I don't know.
He flexes it hard, but it doesn't stay there. It just deflates. It doesn't. It's like it's not filled in enough. Like he's got more room to build into the pec more. Like it's weird. It's I don't understand why some guys just can't. They've been training. Like look how huge he is, but he just the pecs. It's nothing there.
Yeah, but
So
but in that side chest, you did see some
then you
striations
do
there,
see it.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of wild.
like he's flexing. He's squeezing right there. He's squeezing it, but just it's
Took
not.
much time though. I didn't know he was that young. If he's that young,
Yeah, this is only the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah.
that really should take that as only the beginning because he literally could be the best in the world. I mean,
Yep.
I don't see why not, man. I don't
Yep.
see why not. It's up to him how he does it, but
yeah,
Uh, I'm just really
Yeah.
happy for him to see him come back from such a deflated situation.
Yeah.
Seeing him in Toronto and everything, that was sad, man. You know,
Yeah.
New York, or whatever it was. Anyway, but yeah, that
Yeah.
was that.
And that too, I want to, before we wrap up, I want to get Don's kind of take on the Olympia coming up in the top five. Do you have any kind of predictions you want to put out there for the top five? You got Derek, you got Hottie, you got Samson, you got Nick Walker, Andrew Jacked in the mix. Who's
Curry's
your
in
favorite?
there.
Curry still in there, man. Hanging with those guys. Bonak's going to be in there. Nexzilla's
Bonak,
coming there. Tonio.
yep, Tony Burton.
Hanson still would be my favorite. I mean, that's the body, and if he once again, he 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 just comes in like he needs to come in, then he should be unbeatable. I mean, he has a great physique, big, he can pose. He's very classic, as far as his posing, and it's simply just a better bodybuilder. And if you want to start putting people next to him that's, oh, he's harder, he's this, he that, but the reality is he is bodybuilding as far, him and Andrew and things like that. Everything else is, the only problem is those two are allowing other people to step in,
Yeah.
with hard conditioning and stuff like that. And Derek, it's just simply, and I know, not taking nothing away from Derek or Nick, it's just, once again, Samson has the body that if he's in charge, if he wants to be, you know, you know, Nick and Derek, they simply don't have his type of physique. And once again, this is just me. I'm retired, and this is what I see. This is all I. When his feet, his physique looks more complete, looks more normal, and then quads are nice, everything's nice, and everything flows. If I'm him, I'm making sure that waistline is super tight so no one can touch it. You just go back and look at the little guys who are beating you, and they, if their six pack is tighter, then don't let them have that on you. And if their hams a little, glutes a little tighter, don't let them have that on you. And once you take that away, how
Yeah.
can they? So this is my opinion. But when it comes to the other two, and Derek and Nick, they great bodybuilders, and I like their energy. I like what they do. But those are the type of bodybuilders for me. They would have been like, Marcus Rule. Marcus Rule is a great bodybuilder, but he could never beat Chris. He just didn't have the body to beat Chris. Has he ever beat you?
No.
I was on my point, but he was a monster. He was a freak.
Yeah.
And so, but he ended where he ended because that's what they didn't allow certain bodies to go past certain things. You couldn't go past with a not pretty body unless just no one else is there. And then part
Even
of it is no one else is there, and so it opens the door for Derek, who trains super hard.
and then it depends on what the competition it is. Because
Yeah,
like Michael Francois never beat me either, but he has an Honor Classic title, and he won a few shows, but he
Yeah.
never placed ahead of me.
yeah. So my thing, and the problem with I'll go back to with bodybuilding. The problem with bodybuilding today is that all the great physiques are stopping at men's physique, and they're stopping at classic now. And so all the naturally shredded genetic gifts are stopping. They don't want to grow. And I've seen a lot of, you go back and look, you see a lot of,
Classic now.
Yeah.
and I'm not talking about some of the classic guys. Some of you don't have great physiques either. It's not many that have great physiques. I mean, Terrence has a great physique. Breon has a great physique. There's a few that have actually great physiques. Some of them don't have great physiques. They just come in shredded, and
Right, right.
Yeah.
that's the same.
That's
But the men's physiques guys, the Fergusons and the things like that, those were what we were. They had beautiful shapes, but they're stopping right there and not growing into. And so that's why you're missing all the beautiful bodies. They're staying at men's physique. And when it's that choice, but this is where the problem is. So now the football players and the guys that genetics can come in and be bodybuilders, whereas they couldn't have done that back in the day. You would have been at the bottom of the pack because you didn't have a naturally gifted shape. you know. And so all the naturally gifted, small waists, round shoulders, round arms, and then you can develop your legs and things like as you go. But those beautiful bodies with six packs and just teeny weight are stopping at men's physique. And then of course then they move in, some of them move into classic, you know.
Man, I think Don just cracked the code there, explaining why men's open bodybuilding doesn't have those type of physiques a lot of the time. It
Yeah.
makes sense because
Oh,
the,
Yeah.
the organization has grown and we have more classes. These people are staying in those classes; they're not moving up,
Right.
and
me,
that's it right there.
because
Yeah.
Yeah.
me and Chris, if you look at when we started, we were men's physique. We had beautiful
Yep.
and we had straight six packs before we even started bodybuilding, probably. And
Yeah.
so we just started building on it, and we still kept our waist tight, and we still kept a conditioning. And so that's what the guys need to go back to, having at least classic condition, because they'll say, "Oh, it's the lighting, the lighting." But how is C-Bum always the same stage? You
Yeah.
know, C-Bum shredded. You just came out. You know, so it's not the lighting. It's just you're not that tight yet. You know, and so once again, I think when you focus on having a six pack, one of the prime things, and chest cuts and things like that. You know, don't come on stage if you don't have chest cuts. I'll be honest. Go back to the drawing board and figure out why you don't have chest cuts. You know, and it could be the drugs or whatever, and let go of the drugs. Rely on food. The problem is people don't rely on food enough. They rely on supplements, and because I'll be honest, I was a coach, and I'm sure Chris was a coach, and guys don't train hard. They may post up a video, but they really can't go through the training that I went through. You see what I'm saying? They cannot do it. Then, you know, because here's the thing. I would say this. If you got time to post videos and your mindset is, I want to show my body and I'm 5 weeks out, you ain't been to the hell I've been through. I'll be honest. I don't want no one to see my body, for one. And I'm not hurt for you because I'm too focused and I'm too tired. I'm too tired. I'm too evil, you know, to take off my shirt for camera. I don't want cameras on me while like I said, and that's why you look at someone like Dorian, and Chris probably knows too. I'm in a dungeon. I mean, at this point, I'm not coming out of a dungeon for you to take a picture of me. That picture you taking me after I shave and after I'm ready for the contest. At a certain point before that contest, I'm not taking photos. You see what I'm saying? So don't even come around me with the camera. And so you can't do what I used to do and still have energy and the like. And I know you got to do what you got to do for the social media, but you have to also say you can't be to that same kind of level of intensity if you're doing all of that at the same time.
I
You know.
know when I trained with Dorian over in England at at his gym there, I could not pick up a phone for damn sure. There's no way in hell, because my mind was just on, I'm trying to live through the next set. I don't know what's going to happen during this next set. I know how hard I'm going to have to push. And that was it. There's no way I could have held a phone up. I remember that clearly was not
Yeah.
going to be something was going to be able to do. I was thinking, when I used to do photo shoots, I feel like it took away from my intensity. It took away from, like, it was almost like a day off. I felt
Yeah.
when we did a photo shoot or something like that.
And see, that's why I never did photo shoots until after the show. I never did them like leading up to it and things like that. I just never, because once again, I had a beard always. You know, I didn't go to the barbershop for 8 weeks. I mean, I didn't literally go to the barbershop for 8 weeks. I didn't want to talk to them, and I talked to everybody at the barbershop, but I didn't want to go because you having conversations that I don't even care about, and
Yeah.
say. So I'm not going to put myself in there. It's not your fault. I'm not going to put myself around you in the personality that I am right now, because I'm not myself. And so I don't even go out in public. I go to the gas station store and I go to the gym, and that was it. And I'm saying I get in that zone, and I was saying you can't do what I used to do, not the pain and torture I used to take and still want to film it. I'll be honest. You just can't, especially on a daily basis, you know. And so if you ever caught me like that, you caught me with a hood, with my bandana on and my sweats and things like that. And every now and then for my training parties, I'll pick my shirt up just so they know, hey, your help is paying off with this six pack right here. And then, so that's, no, my partners didn't even see me for 8 weeks. Only person that saw me is my wife at the time. that saw my body, because I didn't want a lot of judgment. I didn't want opinions and things like that of, oh, you need to do it. I did it on my own. And so if you don't see me, I don't need your opinion. Just know that I'm killing it under here. And then and when the time comes, you'll get to see it. And my partners were cool with that. I'll be honest. I didn't even want their opinion. Because everybody has an opinion.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Awesome. Well, we'll probably wrap it up there, guys, man. This was awesome. A lot of great insights from Don and his training and his career, and what's kind of happening in the sport nowadays with that quality of muscle that we're seeing on stage. So thanks for
Thanks
sharing
a lot
that
for
with
coming
us.
by, man.
Yeah. I have dark on my eyes.
It's all right, man. It's all
No
right.
problem.
And then Real Deal 10, if you guys want to use my code,
On
get a
like
little discount for a long life meal prep.
meal prep.
All
Awesome.
right.
All right, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
See you soon.
Peace. See ya.